Chapter 17 is called A Present for Dr. Beavis. "Stand up straight," Miss Ballard said. As I practiced with my walking stick, she kept reminding me of my posture. Keep your shoulders back, eyes ahead, don't look down. Each week I used my walking sticks more confidently, but I tended to hunch forward and watch the floor. Weak muscles made it difficult for me to keep my shoulders back, and I looked down all the time because I was afraid I would trip. One morning, Miss Ballard brought a book to my physical therapy session. I recognized it. It was the bird identification book that was kept near the window in the classroom. "This is how fashion models learn to stand straight," Miss Ballard told me as she placed the book on my head. "They balance the book on their head and try not to drop it while they walk down the runway." "It's heavy," I said. "You're lucky I didn't bring an unabridged dictionary. Let's see how far you can get before it falls." With birds of North America perched on my head, I started across the room. "Good, good," exclaimed Miss Ballard. "You look like a fashion model." It was hard to keep the book from sliding off my head while I walked, especially after I began a running commentary, mimicking the only fashion show I ever attended, a mother-daughter event at the Methodist Church. "Our next model is Peg," I said, wearing a stunning blue sweatshirt and corduroy pants. Note the exquisite stains on her shirt front, done by a special process called spilled spaghetti. The stylish lump in her left sleeve is achieved with wadded-up Kleenex. Doesn't Peg look gorgeous for a day of physical therapy? One memorable morning in late January, Miss Ballard said, "Today you're going to walk a few steps without your sticks." My heart beat faster. "Stand here," she said, motioning to a stretch of wall with a sturdy railing, "and hold on to the handrail." I moved into the position, handed her my walking sticks, and grasped the rail. She stood a few feet ahead of me. "Slowly," she warned. "Heel first, then toe. Don't thump your whole foot down at once." I nodded my head. "If you have trouble, grab the rail." I nodded again. She smiled. "Let go of the rail," she said. I did, too nervous even to tease her by suggesting I might sprint away. She stretched her hands towards me. "Peg," she said, her voice hushed. "You're going to walk." I licked my lips and stared at her. "Now," she whispered. Carefully, I raised one foot and set it down a few inches in front of me. My arms prickled with excitement. "Heel," Miss Ballard said. "Then toe. Small steps." Wobbling slightly, I moved the other foot. I held my arms a few inches away from my body to help me balance. "Head up, don't look down, shoulder backs. Pretend you have a book on your head." It took another small, unsteady step. "Heel," she said. "Toe. Heel. Toe." With each word, the excitement in her voice intensified. Head up, staring at Miss Ballard, I walked. 6 steps later, my hands grasped hers, and we celebrated our mutual victory with a hug. "You still need the walking sticks most of the time," she warned as she handed them to me. "Don't try to walk alone unless I'm with you." "Who, me?" I said. "I meant to, Peg. No walking by yourself." She put her hands on her hips. "I know hula dancing." "How did you know about that?" I followed her instructions faithfully. I'd come too far at too great a cost to risk a setback. Besides, I could get around faster with my sticks than I could on my own. Walking unaided just slowed me down. From then on, I practiced walking alone for a short time each day. With Miss Ballard barking directions like an army drill sergeant, I heeled and toed my way around the physical therapy room. And gradually, I gained assurance. I still had to concentrate on each step, but my gait grew smoother, and the steps I took became more normal in length. While I learned how to walk by myself, Dorothy struggled to walk using both her new braces and her walking sticks. She tried hard, knowing that if she could not manage, she would always be in a wheelchair. Renee made more progress than Dorothy did. She needed help getting her leg braces on, but once she was on her feet, she could move about with her walking sticks. On a frigid February morning, Miss Ballard watched me alone and said, "How'd you like to go home?" "You mean, for good?" "Yeah, I've done all I can for you. From now on, you only need to continue your exercises and practice walking alone. Go a few steps farther each day without your sticks and the way you've been doing here. I know your parents will help you, and I think you want to help yourself." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. "The doctors have already agreed to your discharge," she went on. "All we have to do is notify your parents, then they can come and get you." Home. I was going home. You'll need to come back for checkups, Miss Ballard told me. Every week at first, and then every month. We have to be sure you continue to make progress. It'll be fun to come back. I want to see the other kids. They're going to miss you, she said. We all will. I'll miss you too, I said, and I threw my arms around her. On my last night at Sheltering Arms, I passed out all the food from under my bed, declaring I didn't want to haul it home with me. Feeling like my mother's daughter, I gave away my stationery and pen, my hand mirror, my back scratcher, even my teddy bear, insisting that each of the girls keep something of mine to remember me by. We won't miss you, Renee teased, but we'll miss your parents. And your food, said Alice. My emotions were a roller coaster, rocketing to an elation that I would soon be home, and then plunging to sadness at leaving my friends. That night, we sang every song we had ever done, even the Christmas carols. We sang, and we sang, with the music floating over the 5 beds and disappearing into our memories. Mother arrived at 10 the next morning. I was glad to see she came early. Once the day of departure had come, I didn't want it to linger. Even so, the goodbyes were hard to say. They were made more bearable only by the fact that I had to return for a checkup the following week, and I promised to bring a full report from the outside world. Never mind the report, said Renee. Just bring potato chips. Her humor chased our nostalgia out the door, and I followed. Goodbye, the girls called. Goodbye, don't forget to write. Miss Ballard saw me to the car, spouting instructions for Mother and reminders for me. While Mother laid my walking sticks across the back seat, I hugged Miss Ballard. Thank you, I said. See you next week. No running, Miss Ballard warned as she closed the door for me. No funny tricks. No hula. While Mother got into the driver's side, I rolled down my window. Is it okay, I asked Miss Ballard, if I tried out my old roller skates? You'll do nothing of the kind, Mother said. I don't want to hear about it, Miss Ballard said, but she smiled at me as she covered her ears. We have to stop at the university hospital before we get home, I told Mother. I promised Dr. Beavis I'd come back and walk for him. I know, she said. I brought him a present. Somehow that didn't surprise me. Once more, I rode from Sheltering Arms to University Hospital, but this time I didn't have to pretend I was dead. I wasn't sure what to get Beavis, Mother said, so I brought him a necktie. I hope he saved the day. He was. We waited in the lobby while he was paged and greeted us warmly. I see you've graduated to walking sticks, he told me. No more wheelchair. We're on our way home, Mother told him. Peg was discharged today. Oh, that's wonderful news. We brought you a present, I said. Mother gave him a box. When he saw the tie, he said, oh, it's beautiful. I'll think of you whenever I wear it. I have something to show you, I said as I handed my walking sticks to Mother. Then, smiling triumphantly at Dr. Beavis, I walked across the hospital lobby to the information desk, turned, and walked back again. Head up, shoulders back, heel, toe, heel, toe. Small steps. Dr. Beavis watched closely. You did it, he said. You can walk. I stopped in front of him, standing straight. Thank you for helping me, I said. He took both my hands in his, looking as if he had just won the lottery. Thank you for coming to show me. Mother gave me my sticks, and Dr. Beavis went to the door with us. Goodbye, Peg, he said. I'm proud of you. A necktie and 2 minutes of watching a young girl walk alone. I hope it was adequate payment for all he'd given me. Ooh, that's a big one. What happened in this chapter? What are your thoughts? And what are your feelings?